Good afternoon, everyone. Hi, I am Simply Sam. So, I'll be starting a series of vlogs where I will take you along with me on my law school journey. Mark you, I'm almost done. Starting my 3rd year in the fall. However, I just felt like it would be good to give my perspective, my experience, share some of the pitfalls, maybe give some tips and tricks on how to successfully navigate the US university scene, preferably, more specifically, law school. So for me, I created this channel to help others like me navigate their law school journey from home. If you're thinking about applying to law school, maybe you're already in law school, or you're just curious about the experience, welcome, 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 welcome. I will be sharing as much as possible. And if you see me reading, I'm just looking at my notes to ensure that, I'm keeping on track. So, the first question that I'll answer, why did I choose to study law specifically? And why did I choose to study law in the US? For me, I grew up in, and I mean, you'll hear a lot of these examples, but based on how I grew up in my community in Jamaica, St. Andrew, there are a lot of single mothers. I felt like the justice system could have been better. The justice system, and I'm not saying anywhere is perfect, but I think that Jamaica, for being such a small island, a lot more can be done to improve the justice system in Jamaica. Now, I felt like this was an area that I could, maybe help, have some impact on, influence, if you may. So I decided, and mark you, I'm an absolutely great advocate. I will talk, I will advocate for people. Once it's a cause that I believe in, once it's somebody that needs assistance, I will advocate for them. I will advocate for that cause. That is just me, naturally. So I felt like this career chose me. Now, I did not do law in Jamaica. It's expensive. Jamaica, not cheap. Very expensive. I did an undergraduate in business admin, worked several jobs, thought that, law school was just a dream because I felt like I was just working. Yes, I'm earning money, but it's like the amount of bills that you have to pay is like a consistent cycle in Jamaica. And that's another thing. I don't want to go off on a tangent, but that's another thing that I think needs to be improved. In Jamaica, you cannot have young adults. What are you going to use to encourage them? And this is something that the government needs to look at. How are you encouraging young adults to continue to improve and invest in a country that has nothing to offer them? You are a graduate from a tertiary institution and you're leaving school, you're earning 100,000 per month, right? Say you want to live in a nice community. I'm not even going to say like Upper St. Andrew. You want to live somewhere peaceful. You don't have to worry. I mean, every community has their faults. But you want to live somewhere and, build, save to buy a house. How much are you realistically going to be paying for rent? Now, I see a lot of people talking about $30,000 rent. Let's be real. Where in Jamaica will you rent somewhere for $30,000? Say you live in the corporate area, right? Because obviously you live and work in the corporate area. Which community that is not an inner city community will you be living in and be able to afford to pay rent, you're paying your utilities, you still need to buy groceries. You need a little bit of savings for a rainy day. Yes, you have health insurance, but guess what? You still need a little backup something on the end because, your health insurance goes only so far. Which job is going to cover all of that? Food for thought. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Now, for me, I realized pretty early because I'm a planner. I write everything down, like everything. When you see me with my notebook, I'm writing. I write stuff down. I have several books, several things that I'm writing. I'm a planner. So I looked into it, looked at my finances, and I was very realistic about that. Going back to school in Jamaica to do law was just not cutting it. It was just not going to happen. First, you have to do an undergraduate in law. That's not cheap. And then to get into normal manly law school, very competitive, very expensive. I have a single parent. My mother has 8 children, 8 of us. So for me to realistically say, okay, even at my grown age, to say, I'm going to work to send myself back to school, I'd have to take loans. And then what loan is going to wait until I graduate 7 years later? America, I still need to eat. I still need to live while I'm going to school. So I started evaluating, looking at programs outside of Jamaica, looking at applying for scholarships, things like that. I wanted to immerse myself in the experience. I wanted to learn a little bit more about whichever country I decided to do law in. I wanted to learn a little bit more about their legal system and just be more au fait so that I'll be more prepared once I started my journey. Now, this took me several years. Oh, gosh, I was very complacent. I was in a job that I loved. I really, really, really love my job. I love working with people. I love seeing the impact my work has on others. So I was in a job, I felt like I had some semblance of financial security. I could pay my bills, I could have some savings afterwards, but I still felt unfulfilled because I knew I had this dream of becoming an attorney. So I started looking into law school. I narrowed it down. Okay, I will not go to the UK's because if Jamaica is expensive, then the UK is literally out of this hemisphere. That's being realistic. So I narrowed it down to the US or Canada. Evaluated both programs. They both have their merits. They both have their cons. And I don't know why, I started looking at and just start practicing the LSAT. And I'm like, okay, obviously I'm going to university in the US. Practicing my LSAT. At first, before I started practicing, I did the LSAT cold turkey. Crazy. And I would never recommend that, okay? I'm crazy. So I did it cold turkey. Was not satisfied with my grades, but people were looking at me and they're like, oh, Samara, you did well. Sam, you did well. Because if you did it cold turkey and you got that grade, then once you study, you'll improve. Anyways, I did it over again, and then I got into the CLEO program. I will put the link in the description so that if anybody is interested in law school, they can look into the CLEO program. The CLEO program, in a nutshell, is basically a program that helps minority prospective law students get into law school. So I found a video on YouTube. This girl was talking about the CLEO program. I don't even remember her name now. That was some years ago. In 2022, I was too late to apply for the CLEO program, but I'm like, I marked my calendar. And I'm like, 2023 will not pass and I don't apply for this program. I put everything, all my plans into motion, and I'm like, okay, this is it. 2023, I applied to the program, did my interview, and I was successful. Now the CLEAR program, it's a pre-law summer program. They have many facets of the program. It helps you from preparing for the LSAT all throughout your law school journey. So from pre-law right up until you're doing the bar, there is an aspect of the program to assist you. The preparing for the LSAT, the pre-law program, that part I did not do apart from the camp. So they have an intensive summer camp. I was a part of that. I was a part of the 2023 cohort. We did ours in Minnesota. I was in person. It was a mixture of in-person. It was a hybrid program, sorry. So you had persons that joined online and persons that were there in person. I was in person. And I'm telling you, that program, chef's kiss, amazing, amazing, amazing. Without that program, I would not have been in law school right now. And I did that program. I got a part scholarship, and here I am today. So that is a synopsis, a little, whetting your appetite. And guys, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Please, this is our road to 1,000 subscribers. Please help me to get there, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to watch my video. I will see you in the next one. Peace.